So, what if that constant, nagging pressure to invest your money, to make it grow, wasn't just how things are? What if it's actually a symptom of a broken system? Well, that's the massive idea at the core of Parker Lewis's framework, gradually, then suddenly. Today, we're going to dive into how he explains Bitcoin not just as some new tech, but as a deep solution to a problem that, let's be honest, a lot of us feel in our bones every single day.
You've heard it a million times, right? You got to invest your money, put it to work, make it grow. But this framework kicks off by asking a much, much simpler question. Why? Why isn't just saving your money actually enough anymore?
Well, here's the brutal, honest-to-goodness reason why. It's not your imagination. The actual power of your dollar has been in a nosedive for decades. And the key insight here is that it's not that things got more expensive. It's that the money itself got weaker. The book has a name for this: engineered decay. It's a system where your savings are literally designed to bleed value over time. And that leads to what the book perfectly calls the financial hamster wheel. Sound familiar? It's that feeling, that exhaustion of running as fast as you possibly can, investing, taking risks you don't want to take, just to end up in the exact same spot. You're not even trying to get ahead, you're just desperately trying to keep your savings from vanishing into thin air.
Okay, so what's really driving this thing? How did we all end up on this hamster wheel? Well, according to this framework, it's no accident. Our money is, by its very design, engineered to lose value.
And Lewis points back to this foundational idea from Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. The real issue? It's trust. We are forced to trust a small group of people not to devalue our money by, well, just creating more of it out of thin air. And as the book lays out, history has shown us time and time again that that trust often gets broken.
The direct consequence of all this is something called financialization. I know it's a big word, but the idea is simple. It's the reason there's this gigantic, unbelievably complex financial industry that exists for one main reason: to help you try and outrun the decay of your own money. It forces everyone, even the most cautious among us, to stop being savers and become risk-taking investors.
This whole system has just completely blurred a line that used to be crystal clear. Saving was supposed to be the safe option. You're just putting off spending for later. No risk. Investing, on the other hand, was always about taking a risk, a chance to get a bigger return. But financialization has basically smudged that line away, forcing us to treat our risky investments as if they were just simple, safe savings accounts.
All right, so if that's the diagnosis, what's the cure? What does the solution even look like? The book argues it's not about a slightly better app or a faster payment system. No, it's about introducing a totally different kind of money, one that's built from the ground up on a fixed supply.
And this is it. This one number is the beating heart of the entire framework: 21 million. Not around 21 million, not 21 million and one. It is a hard, verifiable, absolute cap. This idea of provable, finite scarcity is what Lewis calls the 0 to 1 innovation. It's not a small improvement, it's something fundamentally new.
So when you boil it all down, the book frames the whole situation as a very simple choice, almost like an A-B test. You've got option A, a money system with a literally infinite supply controlled by a central group of people, or you've got option B, a system with an absolutely finite supply that's controlled by absolutely no one.
Okay, but that's a huge claim, right? How can anyone be sure about that number? Well, Lewis explains it's like a three-legged stool. It's secured by a combination of things working together. First, you've got mining, which tethers the whole system to the real world with actual energy costs. Then you have thousands of nodes all over the world that are constantly checking and enforcing that 21 million rule. And finally, you have private keys, which give you, the individual, total control over your own funds. No central party required.
Now let's play this forward. What happens if people actually start choosing this fixed supply system? Well, this is where the book paints a picture of the future it calls the Great Definancialization, and you can think of it as the hamster wheel finally spinning in reverse.
Lewis lays out this incredibly powerful feedback loop. It starts when people begin opting out, choosing a better way to save their money. They sell other assets. Now, that puts pressure on the traditional system, right? Which, to try and prop itself up, might turn to the only tool it has, creating more money. And what does that do? It just makes the fixed supply asset look even better, which speeds up the whole cycle.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's about a fundamental flip in the rules of the game. It would be a shift from a system that actively punishes you for saving your money to one that actually rewards you for it. Just think about that. Simply holding on to your money, deferring consumption, would once again become a smart, rational financial decision. And all this really brings us to the core question that sits at the very heart of this framework. Is our financial future one of infinite complexity and this constant engineered decay, or is it one of finite simplicity? The book's title gives us a little hint as to how a change this big could actually happen. Gradually, and then suddenly.